Welcome to A Work in Progress with Mark and Pete.
Hello.
That's Pete.
That's me.
I'm Mark.
That's Mark.
The Pete.
The one and only. Wow, there's a lot of Pete's. Did you ever think that's
the one and only?
Did you ever think that's weird? I think it would be a fun idea if worldwide, or at least countrywide, nationwide, everyone agrees that only one person can have a certain name? While they're alive. So you could have different spellings, different pronunciations. Yeah. But nobody can have the same spelling and same pronunciation of your name while you're alive. I think that would be cool because then you'd get
like super creative.
Oh, you'd have to be so creative, and then you'd also have like waiting lists of like, oh, Thomas is 98. He's on his way out, and I really want my boy to be Thomas. So we're gonna get pregnant at the right moment. And so also we're going to try and bargain, I don't know, like pay people off that are like next in line. Be like, you don't want Thomas, do you? What are you guys thinking? Because you guys are, stuff like that.
Man.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Yeah. You'd have like hitmen hired for names.
Probably.
I really want the name Alex. Go take him out.
Oh, you're right. People get murdered all the time. That's not
their name.
Yeah, it was a good idea until people died. Until everybody got killed. Scratch it.
But like different spellings and stuff, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah, because it's like, how are you, Peter? I'm Peter. Like that's me. No, but I'm Peter. Wait,
you're Peter?
How is that?
I spell mine.
Right.
P.
Have you ever met a Mark with a C?
Oh, tons of them. Yeah. A lot of people always think mine is with a C.
Is that more common?
I don't know. I didn't think it was.
I would assume Mark with a K is more common.
I think it depends where you live.
Yeah. Same thing with Carl. I know. I know Carls are with K's and C's.
Yeah.
But I got a friend that's Carl with a K.
Yeah, me too.
So when I see Carl with a C, it's odd, but I know it exists.
Yeah. And I feel like, I guess I know two different Carls.
Are they both K?
No, one's K, one's C.
There you go.
Mixing it up. But then like you could have like people in the same family named Peter.
Yeah.
I just spelled it.
I actually have a cousin who has a son named Henry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and actually I talked to her before we named him Henry. Just like, hey, is it cool with you?
Like, get it okay?
Like, because we really like that name too. She's like, yeah, it's fine. And the thing is, like, we see her, even though she's my cousin, like once a year. Yeah. So like, I think I met Henry once. Her Henry. So it's like, it's not that big of an issue.
Yeah.
So
if it was closer family, maybe.
Yeah.
My oldest niece, her name is Isabella Grace. Oh. And I always wanted to use Grace as a middle name.
Oh, okay.
And then they did it. So we chose other names.
And then they stole it from me.
But like, how pretty. So they live in Guatemala. So her name in Spanish is Isabella Gracia. How beautiful is that?
That is beautiful.
Right?
That might be the winner.
I think so. Yeah. She's beautiful too.
That's nice.
I love her. How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm in a pretty good mental space lately.
That's good.
Feeling like steady, middle ground.
Any fog?
A little bit of brain fog. I've been going up and down with my food, eating pretty good, but then having like some junk here and there just because of like situational stuff. Like, oh, well, I don't really have time to, and I know I don't really have this at home unless I spend an hour making it. So I might as well just go pick up something from Quick Trip,
That is a hard time. Like when your schedule's busy.
Yeah.
It's so much easier.
Especially with Shereen working full time. And then I have Henry on those days often. And then I'm also leading classes. I'm working at the gym. It's like, running all over the place, trying to
busy, man.
be a dad and a gym owner. And then, so it's tough on those days, but it's just an excuse. I mean, I was thinking of things like if you get a procedure and you have to fast for like 24 hours, right? Let's say you meet with the surgeon and he's like, hey, we're doing this thing. You have to fast starting at 8 p.m. and you can't eat anything for 24, even if they say like 48 hours. You'd be like, oh man, that blows. But you do it.
Yeah.
And people do that all the time.
Yeah.
But because they don't have a choice. Exactly. They're like, I know I'm screwed if I don't. But we give ourselves options. And it's like, if someone was like, hey, you have to start eating healthy, or someone not you, but someone you love dearly is going to like get harmed or die, you're like, oh,
yeah,
no doubt. Like if someone was like, oh, Titus is gone forever unless you start eating healthy like today, you'd be like, it's done.
That's good.
It's done.
Give me those carrots.
So exactly. Yeah. But it proves that it's mental.
Yeah.
And it's just a decision.
Yeah.
And then you can get over the discomfort and the real excuses. Like there are genuine reasons to not do it.
Yeah.
But you could overcome them if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. It's just like you don't want to.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like you said, like with fasting, like people fast all the time.
Well, I mean, like then Muslims, I think they're in Ramadan.
Oh yeah.
They're like, they don't eat while the sun's up.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I don't know if they can drink water even.
No.
I have to look into it again. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, but like you fast all the time and then one day when it's dinner time and you're not fasting, you're like, I gotta eat something. It's dinner time. Mm-hmm. So I guess I have to go to McDonald's.
I have to.
It's dinner.
Yeah.
Starving.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
We also don't know what starving really is. We're pretty fortunate in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got all those first world problems.
First them.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi isn't working as well as I'd like.
Oh, it's so annoying.
It's like, meanwhile people are dying of like awful diseases. Yeah. So we got it pretty good.
But when Facebook modifies their platform, it is pretty annoying.
I'm frustrated. Let me go write a blog about it.
Talk about a day ruiner right there.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. A little foggy. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it just has to do with sleep and just not getting in a good sleep rhythm.
What's Annabelle's sleep been like?
She's been really good. And I think it's just like that's almost thrown us off a little bit too. Like the past 2-3 nights she slept through the night.
Let me get this straight. So we were just complaining about tiny little problems, and now your newborn is sleeping too well. And that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the issue.
I'm getting too much sleep right now.
If she would wake up all the time, it would be so much better.
It'd be just easier. Just pick something. Yeah.
No, but like the past few nights, she's slept through the night, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
It's good. So I'm eager to get into that rhythm.
Dude, I remember when Henry started sleeping at least 6 hours, 7 hours straight. It's huge.
You checking, making sure he was okay and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fear is real for most parents. Is he breathing? Is he on his face? Do I need to flip him over? Do I need to move something? Do I need to adjust stuff? But you also think especially, I don't know what age those instincts would kick in, but you'd think even really young, if you can't breathe, they'd be as long as they can move their head, they'd be oh, I can't breathe. And their instinct would kick in to oh, I got to move so I can breathe.
Yeah. You'd think, but
I know it does happen and it's tragic, but
tragic.
You got to think if they're old enough to move or flip over, that they would be able to if that happened. But if they're sleeping, I don't know how that works at different age groups.
Yeah. But, and they could just potentially not be able to.
Yeah. Yeah. But I saw a funny meme video about that yesterday of being have you seen that meme of that guy being you sure about that? You sure about that? No. It's some dude, cropped into a green screen of whatever the meme is behind him. And one of them was I'm 100% sure that my baby is set up and they can breathe and they're fine. And then it's the guy over the top. You sure about my that? Brain and my brain is going you sure about that?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's a real fear.
It is because it's like you said, it's tragic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Families. In your gym, you have a lot of different sayings on the wall.
I do.
Where'd you come up with those?
I had some just from that I liked that I heard over the years. Some of them I Googled, and a lot of them are actually other people, gym members.
Oh, really?
I'll say hey, you want to put a quote up on the wall?
Oh, wow.
Come up with your favorite one.
Yeah.
Pick a spot and we'll put it up there. That's why they're in different handwriting.
I've always wondered that.
Yeah, so they're not. Most of them aren't me. Most of them are gym members that came up with something and put it up.
So I got to think of something really good, and I can write it.
Yeah, please do, and then you get your own little tattoo on the wall.
So cool.
And your little piece of mark on the up there. So come up with a good one, and then we'll put it up.
Push it to the limit.
Oh, I thought you'd go with salt and pepper.
Oh man, that would have been better.
Push it real good. Yep.
What do you have a favorite
quote?
Yeah.
I mean, I really do like all of them. One I really like is someone put up, what if you said thank you to your body instead? Like, thank you, body, for taking me through all these things and like getting me places and doing all the things that you do really well, instead of being like, oh, I hate this about my body and I hate this about my body. And then you punish your body because you're like, you know, in whatever mental state you are. Yeah. But what if you're just like, thank you instead? Like just that whole perspective switch.
How we talk to ourselves is huge. Like that's,
dude, I think it's like 90% of like your like happiness is just like self talk and what's going on in your head.
We were just at a little youth convention thing where kids can like do solos or different things like that. And one of the things was small sermons. And there was a kid who did a small sermon. That's what he was talking about. He said, we preach so much in church about how we communicate to other people and how we talk to other people. But I think those same verses apply to how we talk to ourselves. And I thought it was really good. I thought
that's
really
fantastic. Cool. Yeah. That's a pretty profound thought for a child.
I know, right? And it's true. What we say to ourselves and how we treat ourselves is,
I know that it's not just parents, but I know that parents have a huge impact on like self-esteem and stuff. Like I heard a story about this professional catcher in like the MLB, professional baseball. And when they were a kid, they were like, I want to be a professional baseball player. And a lot of parents might just be like, okay, like you can't do that. Yeah. Obviously you have to have certain like physical characteristics to be able to do that. Yeah. But instead of them like saying like, oh dude, like pick something else, he's like, okay, well let's work on it. And he just worked on like all the time. He's like, you can be a professional baseball player, but
that's amazing.
But you're gonna have to work. Yeah. And then so they implanted that in his head of like, you can do this. Yeah. You can. As long as it's like logical and plausible. Like I don't see why you shouldn't build up kids and your, friends and family members of like, you can totally do this thing.
But like in a realistic way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, don't
be like,
tell somebody
you're so good you can do it right now.
Usain Bolt, Yeah. If they're the slowest person just be like, maybe being the next Olympic, fastest runner in the world isn't for you. But, you're really great at Rubik's Cubes, so keep up with that.
There's a future there.
There's a future. You got a Rubik's future, buddy. Yeah. No, I think hyping up like, friends and family and, but then doing it for yourself. Because I do it at the gym all the time, right?
That's good.
Like, hey man, like you got this, you can do this, like helping people do pull-ups with the bands. Yeah. I had another person do it today who hadn't done it before. I'm like, you can do this. And they're like, I can't. And then they do it. I'm like, see, I told you. And I wish I could do that with my own self on certain things. Like, see, I told you, dude, like you can.
You can do this.
It's so interesting how that works.
Yeah. It's just way easier to tell us or we can't. And when you don't try things, it's so much easier to not fail when you're not doing it.
Yeah. And to be okay with like being bad. Yeah. Like, cause our egos are so strong most of the time. That keeps people from trying new things. Cause they're like, well, I don't want to embarrass myself or feel lesser than because I'm not good right away. Yeah. It's like, but anything you do that's new, you're not going to be good immediately. So to be okay with doing it poorly to start. Yeah. I think is, what's...
Yeah, and being okay with not being the best right away.
Yeah. Yep. Because that stops so many people from even trying stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah. People are like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. It's like, okay, well, best way to get perfect is by starting and then doing it a lot.
Doing it a lot.
Do it all the time.
I feel like this might be unrealistic, but I feel like most people could get really good at most anything. Yeah. If you just devote your time and attention to it.
I think so.
Obviously there's like huge, for some people it's going to be easier than other people.
Sure.
But if you devote enough time to something, you can be good at it.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Yeah. 100%. If you think about like the 10,000 hour rule. Yeah. You heard about that? Yeah. So if you do something for 10,000 hours total, you're a expert or whatever. Yeah. Just do it just do it an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. Most people are so distracted, like with technology and social media and phones, and myself included. Yeah, I'm guilty. That like, I don't think the effort has to be as high right now, this day and age, to be better than most people at something.
Yeah.
Like if you just don't use your phone for a while, if you put it down for 2 hours more than you normally do, and you study for those 2 hours, give yourself a year, you're gonna be better than most of the country in that thing. You know,
I want to be good at cornhole.
Cornhole?
Yeah.
Sure.
Are you good at it? Are you good at it?
I'd say I'm proficient.
Really?
But I'm not great. I've done it enough. I'm decent at all of those like hand-eye coordination games just because I've been involved in sports so much.
Yeah.
And we've done enough like yard games and like playing darts and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm decent. Yeah.
Last Father's Day, April got me a cornhole set.
Oh.
And like, so I'll just go out there and just throw a bunch of bags.
Sure.
Just try to get good at it. It's like, well, I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to get to the point where just like, oh, there's a cornhole set. Oh, you want to play cornhole? Yeah, I guess. I'm not that good. And I pick up 4 bags and just sink them all.
Oh, man.
That'd be awesome.
Have you seen that on like ESPN, them actually playing?
Oh, it's crazy.
Dude,
it's ridiculous.
They don't miss.
They don't.
It's nuts.
Like they get upset if they get it on the board.
Well, like, and then like if they do get on the board, like they can land it exactly
it's like purposeful, like where it is.
Yeah, they can like defend against the other person's throws.
And like set up the backboard for themselves and stuff.
It's nutty.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Are you, I don't know if you looked at the Eupraxia. We're doing that like cookout thing in June.
Are you going to have cornhole?
Yeah. We're going to play yard games and stuff. So that's your chance to kind of.
I got a goal to get good by.
You got to be ready.
I'm going to destroy everybody. It's my goal in life.
Everyone else is just crying and you're just like so jovial. Yeah, that's so funny.
Out in the rain playing cornhole, getting ready.
Yep.
Of the Rocky montage.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. You have a quote in there that I think is profound on my phone, and I can't remember it now. No, it's about getting outside your comfort zone. Do you remember what that one is?
Yeah. Get outside your comfort zone. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's super profound.
Yeah. Yep. And it's really interesting to me when because I've go through slumps.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're in a slump, dude, even though you know steps to take to get out of it, to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That slump is so strong so many times that's like you don't want to take that step.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I know if I would just get a workout in, I would feel 10 times better. You're like, oh, but I'm so tired. It's like, yeah, but guess what? It doesn't make sense. But if you work out, you will have more energy. And then that slump you're in, that other voice is like, yeah, well, logically, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
I don't have the energy to do it.
Even though you have experience in the past of witnessing it.
I don't know.
Same thing for eating good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, if you eat good, you're going to feel way better.
Yeah.
You're going to look better. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to have more energy, all this stuff. And then that voice, that slump voice is like, yeah, I don't know if that's so true though. Plus we don't have time. Plus it doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss out on all the stuff you love about life. Is it really worth living if you don't get to eat all of your favorite foods?
Yeah. And the other
soothing voice.
That's right.
That you trust, even though it's always lets you down.
It's so comforting.
Yeah.
And then you have the other level of it that like people have had really bad experiences with this stuff before. Like they've been on unhealthy diets. And so they have like that trauma of the idea of dieting or they've worked out in unhealthy ways or they've been belittled at gyms or they've felt insecure and things like that. Like, so you have like all those levels of trauma that are like going into it as well that like,
that's true.
I don't want to put myself in that situation again.
It's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah. I was thinking about that with, like going to church and like finding a church seems terrifying. So I've never been in that situation because my dad was a pastor and now I'm a pastor. So there really has never been a time where I've been like church shopping or whatever, like where you're like going around checking out churches. Yeah. But that seems terrifying to like go to a new church. Yeah. Like not know anybody, not know what to expect. You like don't know how much to dress up. You go in and all these people are like happy and like coming up talking to you. And it's stressful. It's got to be stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, I mean, like if you think about when you're in like high school or whatever, like the worst thing would be to switch schools.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't know anybody.
Yeah. Especially like if you're if you're doing it with this level of church hurt that you've gone through, like if you're leaving an unhealthy situation or you had an unhealthy situation as a child and you don't know what you're getting yourself into, like just walking through the doors of a church is a level of trust.
Sure.
Like you are trusting that church without knowing anything about them just by going on a Sunday.
Yeah. I actually am so blessed and like, I don't know, maybe too sheltered, but like I didn't even know what church hurt was until like I was like within the last couple of years. Yeah. You know, I didn't realize that people like get like real negative experiences from certain churches based on whatever factors. But I also kind of treat it like going to a movie or a restaurant. Like I'm not going to, because I went church shopping a little bit with Shireen, and I only went to churches that were recommended to me.
Oh, okay.
So we went to Life Church in Germantown because my brother was going there, and he was like, "This is awesome." So we tried it, and it's great. And then I tried here because Sandy from the gym, and Jim and Linda were like, they were coming to the gym. Yeah. They're like, "This church is great." I was like, "Okay." And I heard it enough times that I was like, "All right, so I'll give it a try." So I think that helps a lot if you can get
a little bit,
some recommendations from people that you know.
And then when you go, like, you know, at least somebody
at least
there.
You know, yeah. And you have something to expect. You can ask them, "Hey, what time is service? Yeah. What do people normally wear? What can I expect?" Kind of stuff. Yeah. Kind of vet it a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, otherwise, if you're going in blind, that's got to be real scary.
When we have a lot of people come in. We're not like a big church that like people come to from other churches a lot of times. That's not like our big demographic of new people. But we have a lot of people who come in that like haven't been in church since they were kids or have never been in a church. Yeah. And like, my word, I would just like have so much uncertainty and so many questions. Yeah. Oh, I don't know how to handle that. No. Need to have like a step-by-step, this is what's going to happen this morning. A lot of people do that. A lot of churches do that where they're like...
Yeah, you could have like an intro video that you could post for like your social media stuff. Yeah. To be like, oh, this is what to expect at our church for people who are shopping around. Yeah.
What a lot of strategists recommend is that like you have Facebook posts that invite people to church and it directs you to a website on your page where it has like what the service is going to look like. Yeah. Like this is kind of what everybody looks like.
You guys have a website?
We do have a website. Okay.
Yeah. Do you have something like that as far as like what to expect and what?
We have an I'm New section. Okay. And you click on that and it kind of tells you what to expect, what our church is about. Okay. How long the service is, the style of music, what to wear, stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, but I don't know how many people go to it and check it out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because we have a small church. And we spend far less time on our website than we should. But that's like the main. Is it gone?
It's gone.
Your water bottle just fell and is gone.
Yeah, it's just gone now.
That's the main way that people hear about our church is through our website, just like Googling churches in Grafton. And ours is one of the first ones that comes up apparently.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I know that's like what you try to do with gyms.
Yeah.
Because like Google will email you and be like, hey, you should spend money on your what's like SEO or whatever.
Search engine optimization.
Yeah. I'm like,
which is something that ChatGPT can help with, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure it can. Can't wait till I can just go retire on the beach next year because ChatGPT is doing everything. Doing everything for me.
So did I tell you that I'm training it to be a virtual assistant?
You're trying to what?
I'm training it to be a virtual assistant.
No, what does that mean?
You didn't tell it? So I legitimately like typed in the prompt and was like, hey, I'm a small pastor at a church in Grafton. I'd like to use you as a virtual assistant. Ask me some questions to get to know me and the church more. So it asked a bunch of questions to get to know me, my background, the church's vision. So it knows like what is important to our church, the size of our church, the culture of our church.
So it can like retain knowledge of like past questions.
Yeah. And so, so like if I ask it to like write a social media post, it will do so in our context with our vision, stuff like that.
I'm going to have you teach me.
It's pretty crazy.
Because I want to do that too.
Yeah. And so I had it for our last podcast. Yeah. The description, ChatGPT wrote it.
Nice.
It just went up.
Wow.
I said, write a description for a podcast, work in progress with Mark and Pete, include this. And we talked about these things and it wrote like an awesome one. I couldn't have written one that good.
It's weird.
I struggle with it.
It's weird.
It's scheduled a bunch of stuff. It's crazy.
Oh,
you just got to use it. You just got to use it well.
You know what's crazy too is it's only going to exponentially get smarter and better and more efficient and more proficient and all that stuff, which is scary because it's already, some of the aspects of it are much more impressive than what humans can do. Other aspects, it's like not even close to like what a human can do.
Yeah.
But it does make you wonder about the future and like if it's going to completely take over, put people out of jobs, maybe, you know.
I think it's going to replace a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
It'll make a lot of jobs too, but I think it'll also, I mean, we're already seeing it with like cashiers and stuff, like like customer service, that kind of stuff is all going to be, it's going to be replaced in a way.
I wonder how much of technology is like meant to be like, as far as like spiritual standpoint, like God, you know, God created the universe and he created all the capacity for technology, obviously. But like, how much does he want us to have, you know, and how much is too far? Because obviously there's negative things that you can do with technology and there's positive things.
Yeah.
And with everything advancing so much and so fast, excuse me, it makes you wonder, like, going almost one of two ways, like completely embrace it, learn all of it, soak it in and just be as effective and positive with it as you can, or completely run away and build a house in the woods and hunt for your food. And you got a stove and you cut down trees to burn for warmth. And like that's what, like, humans, we're meant to be in nature and stuff like that. But we're going further and further away from nature. And it seems like the more and more like screen time we have, the worse people are off, like mental health wise. And the more sedentary we are, the more we sit at a desk, the more we look at a computer, the worse off we are in general. Right. So it's like, how much is nature, you know, supposed to be a part of our life versus what God intended for us to use technology for? You know?
So the question you got to ask is, was I called to be secluded, or was I called to be in the world, but not of the world? So like, so as a pastor, unless I am focused on ministering to the few that are off the grid, then it's my responsibility to understand what everybody else is living with and going with. And I think there is some harm in demonizing the new thing.
I agree.
And I think that happens every time there's something new. And I think there's beauty, and I think there needs to be a group of people, somebody who says, no, how can we use this well? And
how can we mitigate negative use of it?
Exactly. Because if we're just left, so if it's just the two things that says, no, that's evil, don't do it, or I gotta have more, then it's only going to be used for evil. Like it's just gonna grow and grow and grow worse. But if there are people saying, no, this is how it can be used for good, let's do that.
No, definitely. And I don't think that there's much benefit to being completely by yourself. Like, there's a guy, I think it was Alaska or Canada. This is this older man who just moved out there by himself. He had enough to like buy some land, build a house, and like lived by himself for years at a time. Like family would come visit him like once in a while.
Just like totally off
the grid, completely by himself.
That's wild.
And there's sometimes where I like fantasize about like how cool that would be, but I think temporarily it would be cool. But I also think we're meant to be community creatures. Like we need encouragement and love from other people to like feel part of a group. I think we're group animals. So I don't think that would be fun long term. But it's also not good to be social only through a screen. It's like we need to be social creatures like this.
Exactly.
One-on-one, like in groups. I've noticed things like times when I went on vacation. Obviously it was vacation, so it's a special example. But like I was with all my siblings and my parents, and like with her things we were doing, I was almost never on my phone. And I wasn't thinking about being on my phone. It it wasn't even a thought. It was just, we're doing stuff and I'm having fun. But like throughout my day to day, like I'm not with people most of the time because I'm working or doing stuff. I'm almost always like trying to avoid going on my phone.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, versus if we're in a relationship, community, group setting.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like we're doing what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Or what feels normal.
Yeah. 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 I think that's important to always have pieces of that. Mm-hmm. And while recognizing what can be good and seeing the good in the new, also recognizing and seeing the good in the old. Yeah.
It's tough to balance that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because just like sports teams, like you kind of want to like pick a biased opinion.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily biased. You want to pick a side or a thought process. And most times it's like you're either traditional or what's the like modern? Contemporary. Yeah. So you're one or the other, usually favoring. So it's tough to balance the two and be good with both.
And convinced that, and we've talked about this, like the gray area, and convinced that one way is the only way. I mean, like with churches and music, that's a big thing too. Like, like there's churches that are so focused, no, the old ones are the way. Yeah. And there's other churches like, no, the old ones are way too old. They're not accomplishing in it. But there's beauty in the old ones and there's beauty in the new ones.
Have you guys ever considered bringing more like traditional like hymns and stuff into the service?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to. Yeah. And so the brunt of our worship team was saved and came into church kind of when contemporary music was becoming big. So there's a large portion of our worship team that doesn't know any hymns. And so that's why it's hard. We have a few. So like when like the Heckers lead, they'll do a lot of hymns because they were raised with hymns. Yeah. And so that's kind of the way to like get those hymns in the congregation.
I think that'd be cool.
But a lot of the other team doesn't know the hymns. So like if I like name a popular hymn.
Amazing Grace.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you say Amazing Grace and they think Chris Tomlin's version of Amazing Grace. Yeah. Or like anything Grace Greater Than Our Sin, like Even It As Well. I mean like I mean there's just so many
like a Mighty Fortress Is Our God.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. But like that's a hymn.
We sang that one on the anniversary of the Reformation. Almighty. And that's the thing, because like the beauty of hymns is when everybody's singing them together. Yeah. Like especially like one like A Mighty Fortress Is Our God.
Oh, dude, it's powerful.
You just get them started, and then you just have this choir of the congregation singing it. Yeah. Oh, my word, that's so cool.
Yeah. I will say that's one thing I kind of miss about like my old church is like some of the hymns that I grew up with. Yeah. You know, especially the ones that I really enjoy. I know we talked one time about like my church kind of like forcing us to hit all the hymns in the hymnal. Yeah. And there's almost one every week that was like, the tune is rough. Like nobody's in key. Like it's just, no one knows the lyrics or the tune. Like, why are we doing this? Yeah. You know, but, some of the more popular ones that I enjoy would be fun to bring.
We need to do it.
Yeah. I guess I can, next time I do worship team, maybe we could bring it up.
And just get like the organ setting on the keyboard.
That's the thing is like, obviously it doesn't have to be the organ. Like, you just have to sound, like it's from the 1500s.
That's what I love doing is I love like contemporizing older hymns. Like that is so cool. The song Depth of Mercy that we do every once in a while? Depth of Mercy can be. So that's a beautiful hymn. Completely different tune. The tune from Depth of Mercy, the hymn, is very difficult to follow. Yeah. So we reworked the music and put in a modern chorus and things with it. I really enjoy doing that. So you have the beauty of the words. But like you're saying, it's like the original music is really special to people too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I really want to do A Mighty Fortress Is Our God.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Mighty is our God. Sing with us.
Yeah, and it can just be kind of like campfire style of like, I'm going to sing through it once, just so you guys can all get it, and then we'll do it together. Yeah. And then do that hymn again in 6 weeks, you know? So just to kind of like get it into the cycle.
It's so weird to think about teaching old songs to people.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
Everything is like teaching new songs, but to teach these hymns. Yeah. But that's important too.
Yeah, I think so.
You won me over.
Sweet. Let's do it. It's happening.
Let's do it.
Yeah. When I was at my old church I grew up in, the Wells Church, I was like aching for contemporary.
Yeah.
Like new.
Yeah.
Like, if we could have drums, like that would blow my mind. Or a guitar, holy cow.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause it's just organ. And sometimes like on Easter we'd have like horns and stuff, which was cool. Really cool. But yeah, it's like, can we like do one modern song, please? Like, where are you sick of this stuff? Yeah. And now it's like, now I'm exposed to almost
like one
completely
hymn,
contemporary. And I'm like, can we do like an old school hymn? That'd be great. I'll bring my hymnal.
Oh yeah, for real. We need to. We'll do that. We'll work on that.
I have a thought.
Let me hear it.
I was thinking about how interesting it is because Satan's working all the time for like temptation. Of oftentimes I'll be getting tempted, and I'll feel like I've sinned just because I'm being tempted to sin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I think Satan gets us in that way, because you
guilty.
feel like gross and down because you're being tempted.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I've already sinned, like kind of in my head.
Yeah.
Because I'm tempted to do it. So I might as well do it because I'm already down here.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, no, like Jesus was tempted.
Yeah.
You didn't, like, you're just fighting it.
Yeah.
It's like you can come out on the other side not doing it, and like you don't need to feel guilty about being tempted.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But it's a really tough like spot to be in, I think, as Christians, and self-awareness of that situation of like, you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You're just in that process of being tempted.
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Yeah.
Like fight it. Say a prayer.
Yeah.
Get through it, and don't like succumb to that negative, dirty, grimy feeling in your head, and then do it because you're already,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the same thing applies to like your world of physical health and stuff. Like there's been so many times where like I feel guilty because I'm thinking I really want to go over to McDonald's and get breakfast after my workout. And I feel guilty for just even thinking that.
Yeah.
But that's part of the grind.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And if you do go get breakfast after McDonald's, like you're going to feel the natural repercussions of that. Yeah. You're going to experience the natural consequences. Be gracious with yourself and keep going. Yeah. Like in life, like, man, addictions are hard.
It's wild. And all the types. There's so many types.
Yeah, so many types.
Like when you're a kid, you think like there's just like, oh, people are addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
Like hard drugs. It's like, no,
it's everything.
So many things.
Anything. Yeah. But like there's so many people who, when they're driving, like get angry on the road and stuff.
That's me.
And then, really?
Dude, I
cannot picture that at all.
Bro, I'm a different person if there's somebody driving like really obnoxiously.
What?
Oh, I can get heated.
Seriously?
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot, but like one of the things that ticks me off the most, okay, is like especially if you're on the highway, and I'm like not that far from the person in front of me.
Yeah.
So I can't go faster.
Yeah.
Like I'm already going like whatever, like 7 miles over on the highway, whatever like the speed of traffic is, and there's somebody who's like trying to swerve around me.
Oh my word.
And like try to cut in between me and the car in front of me. I'm like, dude, I'm going the speed of them.
Yeah. What is that going to accomplish?
You're going to be stuck behind them. You might as well just stay right behind me.
Yeah.
And nothing gives me more pleasure than if there's like a truck or a car in the right lane. I'm on the left lane and I'm going the speed I should be, following the car in front of me, speed of traffic. And the right lane's a little bit slower, and someone behind me tries to come around and get in front of me, I'll speed up just enough to cut them off so that car in the right lane, and they can't get through. I'll be like, yeah, sorry, dude.
Sorry.
Oh, that's a real bummer. I really wanted you to have that. It's like, what is, I've gotten to the habit of trying to like assume like they need to get to the hospital now. Like that's the only logical explanation for them to drive this way.
For them to be a total jerk.
Oh man, it gets me going sometimes.
When I loved this, so there was a season of life where I lived in the same area as my brother and worked with my brother and everything, and I loved it. But one of my favorite parts was when we would drive places, because my brother, he gets a little bit more heated in the car than I do. Yeah. And so we would drive places, and I loved just like tag teaming, because like someone would do something to make him mad, and so he would be driving, I'd be in a different car, and so like one of us would get like right in front of the person, slow way down, the other person would pull right next to him and slow way down, and we were driving like 10 miles an hour, just trapping this car in. Wow. It was so terrible and so much fun. It was a thrill.
Dude, these days, someone will get out of their car and like come after you.
Without a doubt, man. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah. I noticed that youth thing that we did this past week. I had a youth student in our back seat, and we were driving there, and I noticed myself like start to get upset with the car, and I was like, "Oh, there's a youth student here." So someone was like trying to merge on the highway, and I was slowing down for them to get over and merge, but they wouldn't do it. Like they were just stopped there. Yeah. And I said, "Are you gonna get over?" And then I was like, "Come on over, friend. Come on into the lane. It's okay." I'm trying to like soften my tone.
I'm an employee of the Lord.
Employee of the Lord. That's funny.
This is our code of conduct. Please merge.
Merge, friend. Come on into my life.
Oh man. Yeah.
How did we get there?
What we were talking about? Addictions.
Oh, addictions. Yeah, man, you can get addicted to anything.
Yeah. Even negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And being stuck in your own head about how much you despise yourself. A lot of people are addicted to beating themselves up.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Like the thing that just blew me away with that when I was meeting with my mentor, Dean, and like the way that I talk and refer to other people, like I sound like a different person with the way that I talk to myself. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like if someone talked to me the way that I talked to me,
you wouldn't associate with them.
No way.
You'd be like, who are you?
It's a toxic relationship.
You'd call for backup, get them away from you. Yeah. But we're toxic to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of it like if you have like your kids, right? Like let's say Titus like makes a mistake. You wouldn't be like, "See, I told you you're a screw up, Titus.
Yeah.
I would never try that again. Yeah. You should just give up." No, you'd be like, "That's okay. People make mistakes, buddy. Let's try it again."
Yeah.
You know, we just learned a lesson.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to say that to ourselves. Yeah. It's okay. People make mistakes. I screwed up. I learned a lesson, and let's just do better next time.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost uncomfortable to talk to ourselves like that.
Yeah.
But we would talk to anybody else like that.
Yeah.
And we would mean it.
Why do you think it's hard to talk to ourselves that way?
I don't know. Like why do so many people, get ourselves included, get into the habit of negative self-talk? Where does it stem from?
Like always having to meet a standard or something?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Do you ever feel the weight of someone else's standard? Like the way you live your life, you'd be like, okay, maybe you don't consciously think of it, but if you do something that would disappoint somebody that you hold up really high, like that is terrifying to you, to like let them down?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have that person, or are there multiple people?
Yeah.
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 Because I have that person in my head, and it's mostly like health and like fitness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not following me around.
Yeah.
And usually when you put someone on a pedestal, you know, they say like never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people who you think are like, oh, this person's like perfect. They got it all down.
Yeah.
But they have so many flaws. They have so many things that are not working out. And they're also suffering in different ways.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like I have a lot of people that struggle with comparison at the gym, obviously.
Yeah.
And myself included sometimes, right?
So hard.
But it's like, okay, let's say you could be that person, right? But what you don't know is this loved one of theirs just passed away, and they're struggling with this at home.
Yeah.
And they actually are like severely going through this other thing, whether it's like mentally or physically, and they're just hiding it really well.
Yeah.
So, okay, you get to be their life, but pick somebody that you love that's going to pass away because that just happened to them. Yeah. And now, they also aren't getting enough sleep. So you're we don't consider all the downsides of everybody. We just look at like, oh, well, they have it made. They're making money and they're in shape and they have friends and community or whatever. It's
so much more to life.
You don't know all of their struggles and downfalls and sufferings. Like,
and backgrounds.
So if when you were like, oh, I want to be them, you're not taking that into account.
Yeah.
It's like, I would rather have my sufferings and struggles than some random person out of the crowd.
Yeah.
You know,
because like you said, I mean, people often who struggle, are some of the best at hiding the struggles.
Oh yeah.
So like the people who have gone through some crazy stuff are the ones that you often think have it all together.
Yeah.
Don't compare.
Don't compare. Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Don't be addicted to anything. Be perfect.
Be perfect. It's just so easy. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yep.
No, it's all about grace.
Yeah.
Like we say it, but we're a work in progress. Like legitimately, like every single person, even our heroes, the people we hold up, are a work in progress. Like they are not where they were 10 years ago, and 10 years from now, they won't be where they are now.
What I was thinking of is a real struggle for me and a lot of people, especially like adults, with like fitness comparison, is comparing themselves and myself to when we were younger. Because when I was like 21, 22, I was hitting the gym like 3 hours a day, dude. I was like fit. Like I was strong, really fit. And so now that I kind of like, I've gone through, as a churchian would say, through a season of not being as fit and not working out as much because I'm doing more of the business side of the gym. So now when it's like me trying to like get started again, I almost don't want to start because I know I'm not where I used to be. And in my head, I'm like, well, you should be there and you're not. So just don't even try. And I know I've talked to a lot of people who are in that same spot. Yeah. They're like 30s, 40s, 50s. They're like, oh, well, when I was in college, I could do all this stuff. Yeah. And now that they can't do that, they're like,
they don't see any hope of getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, well, I'm not there, so I might as well not even do it.
Yeah.
It's like, start, be okay with sucking, be okay with being bad when you start.
Yeah.
Even if you used to be good.
Yeah. And then, and your future, it doesn't have anything to do with like how your past was.
Yeah, but we don't think like that's all we have most of the time.
Yeah, that's the comparison.
It's what you focus on that matters, right? If you focus on your past, you're going to be stuck there. Yeah.
Man, it's hard. We're constantly convincing ourselves that we're bad, convincing ourselves that that we're not worth it. And we believe it.
I think we got to pray more. I got to work on praying more. Because sometimes when you're being tempted, right? Like, oh, well, and especially if you have time, you know, like you're alone and you could drive to McDonald's or do whatever the thing is you want to do. Yeah. When you have that time to reflect, that time is spent thinking about the thing that you want to do but shouldn't do. And then willpower comes into play, which almost always loses. Yeah. And we're like, well, what am I supposed to do instead? Like I have this opportunity to do this thing I really want to do. Or maybe avoid a thing I know I should do. Yeah. And we don't pray. It's like, let the prayer take over. Yeah. Like in that moment of temptation. Yeah. You haven't done it yet. Pray. Yeah. And that's like tough to remind yourself of.
There's a lot of times that like, I don't know if you're like this, but in like times in seasons of temptation, there's like, it almost feels like a battle within that. Absolutely. Like what side of me is going to win out right now?
The angel and the devil and the shoulders.
Yeah, totally. Like that's totally what it feels like. Yeah. And so the mental picture that I have, so there's two things that help me is the mental picture that I have continue to go back to is when I was a kid and there was a dog. I was terrified of dogs as a kid. Okay. So whenever there was a dog, I would run and I would hide behind my dad. Okay. And I would, like, I can still picture myself doing it. If I did it now, it would be weird. But as a child, I would run and I would, like, wrap my arms around my dad's leg and he would, like, hold me. And it was the safest I felt because nothing could defeat my dad. Like, nothing could beat my dad up. Like,
dads are invincible.
Yeah, exactly. So my dad would protect me from anything. Like, it wasn't a struggle because my dad was there. And that's so often like what prayer is for me. Like prayer is me running behind the Father because that's where I'm safest.
Yeah.
And he can fight the battle.
Yeah.
And so my prayer is much less, don't let me do this, don't let me do this, and much more, you got this. I'm behind you. You handle this for me, type thing. Yeah. And then the second thing that I has revolutionized how I deal with myself is just valuing times of confession, and just instead of just internalizing and dwelling on all of the terrible things I've did, just confessing, acknowledging them, and showing grace for those things and moving on.
I just read a passage today. But if you confess your sins, he is faithful and just and will purify you from all unrighteousness. It's like
favorite verses, man.
Purify me from all unrighteousness. And all I have to do is like confess my sins. Yeah. It's like, what? He's faithful and just. Yeah, he is. So I got to confess. Oh, wouldn't it be great to just get all that off my chest? Yeah. Because Jesus covered it for me anyways. Yeah. Oh, what a great reminder. Okay. Yeah. So it's like, but even if we've been in the church our whole life, sometimes we need to be reminded of that because the devil is constantly like fogging our brain and like helping us or trying to get us to forget.
Well, so often it's harder for people who have been in church the whole life because they think I should have had this figured out by now.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't be struggling with this right now. Why am I still struggling with?
Do you ever get jealous of like people who find faith like as an adult and then they're just like on fire because they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This like Jesus loves me and saved me and like I can go to heaven because I have faith in him.
My life has changed forever.
And then they're just like on fire for God.
Yeah. Like quit all of their addictions cold turkey.
Yeah. And they're like you've known it since preschool and you're just like, well, whatever. Yeah, I'm like duh. Yeah, like obviously.
I know that.
Yeah. Sometimes I envy their fire.
Yeah, man. It's different and it's a different type of faith.
Yeah.
But both are important.
Yeah. And we can always pray for the Holy Spirit too. That's another passage. Like he talks about like what father would give a snake to their kid who asked for bread or something like that. It's like, won't the Father also give the Holy Spirit to those who ask? It's like, okay, are you struggling? Yeah. Have you been asking for the Holy Spirit? No. God's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
You got to ask.
Yeah.
Confess your sin. He's going to purify you from all unrighteousness. Ask for the Holy Spirit. He's going to light you on fire. Like pray when you're in temptation. Boom.
Yeah.
All great reminders, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. And believe those things. Be gracious with yourself.
Yeah.
So oftentimes I think probably most of the people that were raised in the church, like, yeah, Jesus forgives me. I get that. God forgives me. But I'm still a terrible person.
No, we can't forgive ourselves, too.
Yeah, absolutely. We still treat ourselves like crap.
Oh, man.
Like, sure, we believe that God has forgiven me, sure. Yeah. But I still view myself as a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Piece of garbage when he says, nah, you are wonderfully and beautifully made in my image. Yeah, we lie to ourselves. Yeah, it's hard.
Yep.
It's hard.
Trying to think of like a good way to like let that go. Like how do you work on that?
I think it's just practice.
Yeah.
Of just telling yourself the true statements, even if you don't believe them.
Have you ever meditated? Like just breathing, like deep breathing, like guided meditation stuff?
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Recently.
You have recently?
Yeah. That's what I've just started the practice recently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
How's it been going?
I mean, it's...
You like it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It gives me like such a peace that...
It gives your brain a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
You're not just like scattered and like constantly worrying about everything.
Yeah.
But one thing I was thinking of is I've done it in the past and sometimes they do like guided mental practices, things to focus on. And with your breath, like inhale like good positive thoughts. And then when you exhale, like you're pushing out all the negative thoughts about yourself. And that can kind of be a mindful practice of like slow down, take some deep breaths, inhale positive thoughts about yourself, exhale all the negative. And it sounds like tutti frutti, but That's how our brains work.
No, dude, there's
And
something
if it works,
sacred.
if it works, it works.
There's something sacred about breathing, man.
Yeah,
like
I think
it's just
so.
like every breath is a picture of resurrection and renewal.
Yeah.
Like you're expelling everything you don't need and inhaling everything. And like each breath is a reminder of God's renewal in our life. Man, yeah, there's a beautiful thing. So like when we breathe in, it's not just getting oxygen, but it's getting God. Like it's awesome.
There you go.
Breathing is important.
Yeah.
Don't stop doing it.
Keep breathing. What do you think we're at?
I don't know. Right there.
56, baby. Nailed it.
It's
I'm actually
a skill.
disappointed we weren't between the 3 minute plus or minus.
57.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Do you have a joke or anything to close us out?
Just the one I told in class today.
It was really good.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah.
So the thing I find interesting is the urge to sing "A Lion Sleeps Tonight" is always just a weem away. A weem away. Just a weem away.
That's so good.
Terrible in the best way.
That's so good. You gotta next time you gotta say the airplane one.
Oh, I'll just do it right now.
All right, please do. It's
So,
good.
did I tell you I was in the hospital last week? I was telling too many airport jokes. Doctor says it's terminal. Usually that joke flies over people's head, and I gotta wait for it to land. Takes a little while for it to land.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh man, love it.
Yeah,
Good work.
yeah,
Thanks for listening to us.
yeah. That was fun.
It was fun. It always is. I love you, man.
Love you too, buddy.
Me too.
Until next time.
Yep.
Read the description because ChatGPT probably wrote it.
ChatGPT probably wrote it.
Yeah.
If anything we're saying resonates, let us know.
Yeah, and please share our podcast if you want us to keep recording and sharing it with you, so that we know that it's useful for you and that you enjoy it. Tell your friends that you think it would be helpful.
Yeah.
We would greatly appreciate it.
Very much so. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.